Hey there, friends. It's Steve here, the old Get Out of Debt guy. Hey, what you're about to hear is from my other podcast, Old Guy Insights. But the topic fits perfectly here, too. I think you'll find it both helpful and relatable. And if you're facing a challenging financial situation, let me tell you about my friend Damon Day. I've had the privilege of mentoring Damon for nearly 2 decades now, and he's exceptional at helping people tackle tough debt problems. If you need someone you can trust, visit Damon at DamonDay.com. That's DamonDay.com. He's the real deal. Now let's jump in. Picture this. You're sitting at your kitchen table, a stack of bills towering in front of you like a paper Mount Everest. Your phone buzzes with notifications. Another reminder of what's due. And you're too afraid to look. Meanwhile, outside, the sun is shining, self-driving cars are zipping by, and people are laughing in coffee shops like everything's fine. But inside you're wondering how long you can keep this balancing act going. The American dream. For generations, it was supposed to be our guidebook. The promise that if you worked hard, you could build a better life. But let's be honest. The dream we've clung to for decades is starting to feel like it's just slipping through our fingers. But here's the twist. Just because it's changing doesn't mean it's gone. In today's show, we're going on a journey, a long journey. From the very roots of the American dream to how it has evolved across generations. We'll also explore how the struggles we face today aren't just American problems. They're part of a global shift that's challenging dreams everywhere. This is a big show packed with information, and after a lot of research and hard work getting the facts together, I'm positive this is information you haven't heard elsewhere, or at least put together all like this. By the end, you might just find your perspective shifting in ways you didn't expect. And when we're done, I'd love to hear your thoughts. You can drop a comment below, or you can reach me through my website, oldguyinsights.me. Send me your questions. Send me your comments. I'd love to hear from you. And while you're here, don't forget, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and like the show so you don't miss any future episodes. Together, we're building a community that learns, grows, and dreams again. Hey there, friends. It's Steve here, your second or maybe your third favorite grandfather. Today, we're hopping into a time machine, not to escape the present, but to understand it better. We'll look at where the American dream started, how it's evolved, and where it's going. Then we're going to travel the world and see how unique the American dream is, and if others are facing similar challenges. Keep that in mind, because I think you'll be surprised at what I'll share. Ready? Let's start this journey through time together. Let me take you to 1776. Meet Ezekiel Harper. He's a farmer who's part of a ragtag group of colonists, dreaming of independence. Ezekiel doesn't want riches or fame. His American dream is simpler. He wants to own a piece of land, feed his family, and maybe, just maybe, leave something better for his kids. But life back then, it was rough. Ezekiel spent his days plowing fields with an ox, his nights stitching worn clothes by candlelight. If he wanted water, he hauled it from a well or the creek. And if he got sick, his options were a prayer and a poultice. Imagine Ezekiel pausing by that creek one evening. He catches a glimpse of his reflection in the water. And he wonders if all this backbreaking labor will amount to anything. Will my children live a better life than me? Or will they struggle just like I do? Fast forward to today, Ezekiel steps into your living room. He sees you flip a light switch, grab a cold drink from the fridge, and scroll through your phone. His jaw drops. Wait, you mean you don't have to chop wood for light? You don't have to salt your meat to keep it from spoiling? And This little box shows pictures that move? Incredible! He'd marvel at medicine too. Vaccines, surgeries, and pills that cure illnesses his neighbors die from. Did you know that smallpox, a disease that killed millions in Ezekiel's time, was eradicated globally by 1980? But Ezekiel might also notice the cracks. He'd see the pressure we're under, the constant grind to stay afloat, and wonder, have we traded one kind of struggle for another? Now let's jump to 1946. Meet Betty. Betty Johnson is a homemaker who's just moved into a brand new suburban home with her husband, a World War II veteran. Thanks to the GI Bill, they've managed to buy their house with a small down payment, something their parents could only dream of. For Betty, the American dream feels real. She has a white picket fence, a shiny new refrigerator, a husband with a steady job at the local factory. Dinner's on the table by 6 p.m., and weekends are for mowing the lawn and hosting barbecues. Life feels predictable, and that's a good thing. Betty's parents, who lived through the Great Depression, marvel at her fully stocked fridge and the fact that she doesn't have to sew her children's clothes by hand. Betty sometimes wonders, is this life enough? Now let's leap forward to 2025. Meet Emma Davis, a software engineer who just spent the morning stuck in traffic, rumbling at every red light. Later, she vented about her slow internet during a work call, and last night, she lay awake worrying about how she'd ever afford a down payment for a house. Emma has a decent job and a nice apartment, but she feels like she's running on a treadmill, only it speeds up all the time. When she learns about Betty's life, she's shocked. Wait, you bought a house on one income? And groceries were how much? Later that night, she gets a notification. Her rent is going up by another $200 next month. She tosses her phone aside. How is this sustainable? But then Emma looks at Ezekiel's time and remembers how far we've come. Look, I might complain about grocery prices, but at least I'm not hauling water or plowing fields, and even Betty would have been amazed at today's options. From Ezekiel's muddy boots to Betty's white picket fence to Emma's glowing laptop screen, we can see how the dream has shifted over time. Each generation built on the last, gaining comfort and convenience, but also new struggles. Ezekiel's dream was survival, plain and simple. Betty's dream was stability, with a side of prosperity. And Emma? Her dream is balance, trying to thrive in a world that often feels overwhelming. Here's the question. What's been gained and what's been lost? Is the dream still alive, or are we chasing an illusion? Let's face it, buying a home might feel like winning the lottery. Grocery bills can make you sweat. And the cost of higher education, it's practically a second mortgage. So if the old American dream is slipping away, what does the new one look like? Maybe it's simpler. A rented apartment filled with laughter and love beats a lonely mansion with magazine-worthy landscaping and designer window treatments any day. I've seen it firsthand. Growing up, I visited homes that looked like they were plucked straight out of a magazine cover, only to find the families inside living on lawn chairs and sleeping on air mattresses. Well, the truth is, any dream you chase to impress others is often an illusion only to impress yourself. The new dream might not be about ownership, but about enrichment. Owning your time, investing in your passions, and building meaningful relationships. I mean, picture this. An evening spent cooking dinner with friends in a small but cozy kitchen. Laughter echoing down the hall. Instead of stressing over a mortgage payment that you can barely make. The happiness roadmap for 2025 starts with shifting expectations. It's not about giving up, it's about choosing a dream that fits your life, not the other way around. Here's a twist. The struggles we face with the American dream, they're not unique to America. Across the globe, people are grappling with their own versions of a dream that feels just as out of reach. In Canada, home ownership was once a cornerstone of the Canadian dream. But rising housing costs in cities like Toronto and Vancouver are forcing young families to redefine success. In Australia, the great Australian dream of a backyard barbecue and a family home have been pushed aside by sky-high property prices. Even in China, where the Chinese dream promises prosperity through hard work, a slowing economy and relentless competition are leading younger generations to question the grind. Movements like laying flat, choosing simplicity over hustle, they're gaining traction. The pattern's clear. The forces reshaping the American dream, globalization, automation, housing shortages, climate change, they're affecting dreams everywhere. What's comforting is that we're not alone. Understanding these shared struggles can help us build a shared solution. All right, quick time out here. It's me, your friendly editor, popping in from the future. As I was reviewing this segment that you're about to see, a little alarm went off in my head saying, hey, someone might take this as an endorsement of illegal immigration. Let me be perfectly clear and clear that up faster than you can say misinterpretation. That is not my position. I'm not in favor of illegal immigration. That being said, I'm also not in favor of blaming people for things they didn't cause, like pointing at the dog when the cat knocked over the vase. My focus here is on the shifting American dream. I've always believed that if we got the facts, we can make better, smarter decisions. Facts beat fear every time. And now, let's return to your regularly scheduled programming where I promise not to overthink things at least for the next 30 seconds. When dreams feel out of reach, it's tempting to look for someone to blame. In many countries, immigration has become the scapegoat, not just in America. In the U.S., some claim that immigrants take our jobs, overburden public services. But in reality, immigrants often fill labor gaps, pay billions in taxes, and create businesses that drive the economy. The real culprits, like automation and corporate consolidation, they're less visible, but they're far more impactful. This isn't just an American issue. In the UK, immigration was a central issue in the Brexit debate. In Germany, the 2015 migrant crisis sparked fears about welfare and jobs. But across the board, the evidence is clear. Immigration isn't the root of the problem. The challenges we face, housing shortages, wage stagnation, and rising costs are driven by global forces, not open borders. Blaming immigration distracts us from tackling the real issues. The solution lies in addressing systemic problems, not scapegoating our neighbors. You've probably heard it before. Someone says, if we just closed the borders and deported undocumented immigrants, the American dream would bounce right back. It's a simple solution that sounds appealing at first, but let's dig into it. What would actually happen if we went down that road? First, think about jobs. Immigrants, especially undocumented ones, are often doing the work that keeps this country running. The jobs that many people don't want to take. Farming, caregiving, construction. These industries depend on immigrant labor, and without them, what happens? You'd start to see labor shortages, crops rotting in fields, and costs skyrocketing at the grocery store. The dream of cheap, abundant food? Gone. Then there's housing. Some folks like to claim that immigrants are driving up the cost of rent or home ownership. Let's be real. The housing crisis is much bigger than immigration. We've got zoning laws that make it hard to build affordable homes, and corporate investors snatching up properties to turn a profit. Deporting millions of people wouldn't magically make rent affordable. It might even leave some neighborhoods emptier without actually solving deeper problems. And let's talk about the workforce. America, like many countries, has a declining birth rate. Fewer kids are being born, and it means fewer workers will support our aging population. Immigrants help keep the economy moving forward. They're not just taking jobs, they're keeping industries alive. Shrinking the workforce doesn't restore the dream, it makes it harder for everyone. And here's the kicker. Deporting immigrants doesn't touch the real issues. Automation is still replacing jobs. Wages are still stagnant because of corporate practices, not immigration. And housing is still unaffordable because we haven't addressed the systems keeping it that way. Closing borders? It's a distraction from the hard work of fixing what's actually broken. So would shutting the doors to immigration restore the American dream? The facts just don't back that up. The truth is the dream we're trying to save isn't slipping away because of people crossing our borders. It's slipping because the rules of the game have changed. And to win, we have to change with them. So what have we learned? The American dream isn't a fixed idea. It's a living, breathing story, shaped by every generation that reaches for it. From Ezekiel's muddy boots to Emma's glowing laptop, the dream has evolved. It's never disappeared. Yes, change is hard. It's easy to feel like something's been stolen from us. But holding on to anger won't build a new dream. Letting go of what's gone gives us some room to create something better. The dream isn't about impressing others with what we own, what we have, what we can buy. It's about finding fulfillment in what we build, share, and experience. It's about redefining success to fit today's reality and tomorrow's possibilities. Think of it like this. The American dream is a mosaic. Every generation adds some of its pieces. Some bright, some rough, but together they create something beautiful. The canvas might look different now, but the brush is still in our hands. And as we move forward, remember this. You're not alone in this journey. The challenges we face are shared across the globe, but so are the opportunities to dream again. If this show shifted your perspective, tell me about it. Drop me a comment below, or email me your question or suggestions for an upcoming show. You can reach me through my website, oldguyinsights.me. That's me.